All right, on beam, they are 3 feet in the air, and we do have 3 different heights of beams. We have a floor beam, we have a low beam, and then we have our regular beams. So just one other safety note with beam, make sure when you are dismounting, coming off the beams, that you're trying not to dismount right in the middle of a mat. Make sure you're not landing on and off of a mat and hurt an ankle even with that because of the different levels of mats. Okay, first thing we need to do is get on the beam. Okay, there's the ungraceful way, which is you use the beam supports to crawl up on it this way and get up. Or the way we want you to do it is called a straddle mount. You're going to stand in front of the beam, hands over the beam, jump up and straddle the beam and turn, quarter turn at the same time. So here, up, over, turn. Okay? Now we're in the straddle position. Then we're going to do what's called a whip. So we're going to drive our heels behind, try and push that momentum into our hips up here so that we can get a knee onto the beam. Okay? Like that. And then I can swing this leg forward and stand up. Once you're on the beam, you want to get comfortable with the beam. So the first things you want to do is just walk forwards and backwards. Hands probably best on the hips or in a dance position. And make sure that you don't walk off the back of the beam. Okay, I can feel the beam there with my toe. So make sure you don't walk off the back because that will hurt. Okay, so forward walks, backward walks. Once you're comfortable with those, then you want to start moving them up onto the toes a little bit more so they follow the foot, forward and backwards. And I won't do them all. Full length of the beam, get comfortable. Let's see. When you're walking on the beam, make sure that your carriage is up. Don't be looking down at the beam this way. That actually will throw you off. You want the chin up. You can look down with your eyes, but don't drop the head. So a good position here as you're walking forward and backwards on the beam. Once you're comfortable with those walks, I'm going to move over here for a dismount. So again, from the other side, straddle, whip, knee on, step up, and then you're up ready to do something. Okay, once you're comfortable with walking, then you want to start doing kick walks, forward kick walks, and backward kick walks. Okay, the whole length of the beam. Our dismount, you can go off the end or off the side. From here, you jump up and do a whole body acro jump off of the beam. Make sure you're sticking your landings there. And then lastly, I want you to start turns. Okay? So, pivot turns. You'd be up on the balls of the feet here, and you turn towards the inside knee, front inside knee, and just turn around on the toes. Okay? Now I go the other way because right leg is forward. Okay? Pivot turns. You can step, step, pivot turn, step, pivot turn. So you're just getting comfortable being on the beam and starting to get your balance. Okay, so that's where we'll start. Bar is where the things we're doing in strength training are really going to come into play. If you can't hold yourself up on the bar like this for 2, 3, 4 seconds, you're going to really struggle with the first skill to get up on the bar. And so those pull-ups, and then the knees and the toe-ups, same thing. So if you can't do either of those, you want to continue working those to try and develop the strength to do them both in the abs and the arms. Our first skill is going to be a basic swing. Okay? So on a basic swing, your hands are on the bar. You're going to jump backwards, lifting the hips this way into a pike position, and you can either straddle or stay pike. Straddle takes a little less ab strength. And swing forward and come back to a stand. Okay? Make sure I keep the arms straight. A lot of times I see students trying to bend the arms. This is straight arms. Okay? The next skill we're going to do is a pullover. Okay? This is what it looks like. You're going to step forward on one leg, kick the other foot up and over the bar. Bend the arms so you're bringing your chin up to the bar to get into a support position. Support position is when you hold yourself up on the bar this way. Okay, so it looks like this. There. Okay, and then once you're up here, you want to try a cast, which is bending around the bar this way at the hips and driving the heels back. Very similar, and then dismount off the back. Very similar to the whipped squat on the. As you're learning the pullover, a mat can be very helpful. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our leading foot on top of the mat, which gets us closer so we don't have to jump as much off the foot to try and get up. So on here, I'm going to go up with my left foot on here, and that way I'm going to push off that mat. So I'm going here, jumping off that mat as I kick the foot just puts me up higher so that it's a little easier to do the skill. So here, push, kick, and up and over to the support position. And cast, dismount off. Okay? So those are our beginning skills. On the low rings, we're going to start with just a support position. So you're going to just hold on the reins like this. I'm going to jump up, straighten my body, hollow body position, pull the hands into the side, elbows into the side, everything nice and tight, to be in a support position like this. Okay? When this gets comfortable, then you want to move up to an L sit, turn the rings out, try and hold the L sit for 3 seconds. All right? The basic swing on rings, as you're hanging here, you're going to bring your feet up to start the ring, your feet swinging, and then the arms, as the heels come up, are pushing out a little bit and down, trying to lift your chest up in the back, and then as your toes are coming forwards, you're going to be pulling backwards this way to bring the chest up and the toes up in front. The hands are kind of going to do this kind of motion in and out a little bit as you do that push. This really requires a lot of shoulder strength because the swing is created by the shoulders pushing at each side of the swing. Right off the bat, it's going to feel a little unnatural, kind of like the first time you rode a bike and you just didn't understand balance. It's going to take a little swinging practice to get into the rhythm, because when you're out of rhythm, it just does not work. It kills the swing. So get up and practice it. Start small. Get the toes going and then practice pushing, just getting those arms. Make sure you're getting the rhythm in a small swing before you start trying to get a little bit higher. And I'll demonstrate that. Start here, just bring my toes up, start a little bit of swing. Right now it's just my heels and my toes that are creating the swing. And then when I start pushing, I can do just the front, push. Or I can do just the back, pull, pull. And then when you're getting more comfortable, then you're doing pull front and back, which is going to create the swing. Okay? So, man, you want to watch the pullover demonstration I did in the women's on the low bar. We're eventually going to do it on the high bar because we use the metal high bar, which is the bar over the pit. So, the pullover, when you come over to this bar, it becomes all strength. So you're here on the bar, you're going to pull up in the back, pull the hips up and over until you're in a support position up here. And then you can just rotate backwards to come off. Okay? One thing that might help is if you get a little bit of a swing, if you pull up on the back swing, right here, sometimes that little bit of swing will help your hips swing up over the top. Okay? The other thing I want you to work on is a basic swing. The basic swing, you're going to, just like on the rings, you're going to shoot your toes forward to start the swing. In the back of the swing, you're pulling your hips up into a pike position. In the front of the swing, you're going to be nice and hollow body. So you're piked in the back, straighten out in the front, and then you drive your toes forward to add more power to the swing, to increase the swing, is the toes pushing forward from the bottom. At the back of your swing, you've got to re-grab the bar. So as you swing forward, the wrists come here. If you don't do something about that on the backswing, your next swing it'll go further and you'll just peel off. Okay, so in the back you've got to re-grab the bar. Hopefully you can see that as I demonstrate. So if I'm starting from a dead start, I can push my toes up, and there's the swing. And up in the back, drive the toes. Up in the back, we grab, drive the toes. Okay? I don't have grips on. You want grips on. It's going to help protect your hands from ripping. This is our mushroom. We don't have a pommel horse, but this is the training apparatus for the pommel horse. This is what you're going to be attempting to do. Up here is they're called circles. Okay, so you're going to go around on the hands, ideally like that. Okay, a couple of those would be great if you can get this semester. When you start, you want to start by just doing a quarter and then a half and 3/4 to make sure you're getting in the right position. You're constantly leaning away from your toes with your shoulders. Okay, and when you start, you're going to start with the legs straddled. All my weight, I'm circling clockwise. All my weight is on my right arm. I'm going to bring my feet together behind me here in a chassé motion here, where I bring those feet together while I lean on that arm to be able to get onto the table here, okay? So the start is really important because the better the momentum you have, the easier this skill is going to be. So here, okay? And then that hand comes down. At this point, I've got to be leaning back opposite my toes, and then here it's the same thing. In order to lift this hand, I've got to be leaning into this shoulder. Okay, so that's the principles of it. We do have this bucket that you can use. This helps you go through the motion, maybe develop the strength. This bucket will spin. Okay, so you put your toes in it here, your feet in, then you can hold yourself up as you make the bucket go around, and you can practice the motion and in slow motion. Notice how the body's nice. And hollow body position, hips high. That would be an ideal circle on a mushroom. Make sure you hang this back up when you're done on the clip. Okay, P-bars and mushroom especially, you might want a pair of sweats because when you're going around, this will just eat your skin right up and you get what we used to call horse bites. Okay. On low P-bars, we're going to start with just a L-sit. Again, we're building ab strength. So this is where ideally you're at. 1001, 1002, 1003. Okay? Notice my legs are parallel to the bars as I hold that nice and steady. That's the ideal. Depending upon your flexibility, you may not be able to bring your feet up that high. You might be down here instead, but still holding it. If you can't hold it at all, you want to start by maybe putting one foot on, holding the other one out, and switch. Okay? Get to the point where you can get them both together and hold it that way. Here we are at the parallel bars. Just so you know, these are completely adjustable. This unscrews. There's a pin here, so these can go up and down, and they twist this way in and out to bring the bars closer together and farther apart. There's no standard width for the P-bars. It's really personal preference. I have always done the width of from my elbow to the end of my fingers plus a couple fingers. But it's got to be wide enough for your hips to go through. Okay, first skill on P-bars is going to be a basic swing. Just like on rings, you need to start small. You're going to be counter levering, so like mushroom, leaning away from the toes with the shoulders. And so there's some forces working there that you need to work through before you start swinging very high, or you're going to wind up on your head. So we're starting with them low. So you're going to jump up into a support position here. You can bring the toes forward to start the swing. Good hollow body position. I'm rotating around my shoulders, okay? And my body is just in this good hollow body position, forwards and backwards, okay? That's the basic swing. If you need to stop, you can straddle the legs on top of the bars here, or dismount off the back and just hop off like that, okay? That's the basic swing.